today. The improved package has arrived. We're having it fitted in time for FP1. Have a look at the factory report.
Thank you very much for that, Chris, and welcome back to F1 2017. We've got our upgrade. We've got our first power upgrade, getting 4.62 brake horsepower, and the Mclaren needs all the horsepower it can get because, my God, it's still the slowest piece of crap. So now we can move on to the next part of the tree here. It moves along one to the left. Once we get this, we can then look to maybe move down. This next one will get us some more engine power, the one that we're going to pick up, because we're going to pick up, I believe it's the injectors, fuel injection system. There we go. So it's another power upgrade, another minor one, so nothing too special about it. 900 resource points. We're going to pick that up, and that will be developed in 2 weeks, so that will come for the Spanish Grand Prix, if I'm not mistaken. But once we spend those resource points, we need to get some more, and we moved straight into practice. Track acclimatization, bottled the last couple of corners, but purple score, nice and done, 50 resource points, job's a good one. Tyre wear test, nice and simple, managed to handle it quite nicely around Bahrain, to which point, not looking too forwards Bahrain, because this is power track, the McLaren not so power, mucho no power. Fuel management test, 30 points, there's, you know, I struggle with these fuel ones, but I'd rather get 30 than 0. Here comes the quali run. This was in Q2. I waited for Q2 to do the quali run so the track could rubber in a little bit more. And we got, once again, the green score. And I'm like, I'll take green. It's 30 points. And here comes the race strategy for another 50 points. But like I said, Bahrain. Bahrain, Bahrain, Bahrain. Power circuit. You need power and aero. And the McLaren's okay on its aero, but awful on its power. And as such, we're not looking great. We're not looking great. This is our qualifying lap. You're gonna see here. I changed it, so now I'm actually running the 3 quali sessions rather than just short, because 12 minutes, just no, absolutely not. This is my second run, as you can see by the delta, and I figured I'd just include sort of highlights of the best lap there. So you can see here that we were much better on this second lap. We were half a second up for a brief period before we slid through turn 10 as we now come up the hill. Still going to be up on our delta by just about 0.4 of a second there as we come through, get it planted on the power, coming through for the final part. Once again, we attack the final corner, nearly 0.6 of a second up. We charge across the line, and it's still 19th. All of my fears have come true. There is a track reliant on power, and I can't. We qualified last by a damn second. 1 second. That's about 4 years in Formula 1 time. It's just, I was dumbfounded. Like, I haven't done anything to the difficulty. I'm still sitting at the 95 difficulty, and I'm just like, I couldn't fathom. So I looked at potential possible reasons, and I'll tell you why it is. This could have something to do with it. Now, I have since I played this, watched other YouTubers, and they also had issues. So maybe the AI are just good around Bahrain. However, I was still running all of my first power unit. So that's been pushed quite hard. So I qualified last. So I just went, to hell with it, we'll replace it. Now, due to the fact that these, the power unit and all of the components, like the internal combustion engine, MGUK, MGUH, energy storer, turbocharger, and the control electronics, because they're part of our first 4, like the 4 to last of the season, we can fit new ones before the race and we won't get any penalty. However, the gearbox, which I do also change, as you're going to see here, the gearbox hadn't done its 6 allocated races yet, so I'm going to take a grid penalty. I'm already last, so I'm like, to hell with it. I'll take that anyway, and I'll run with a completely fresh car and see if I can perform any miracles in the race. Thank you, Jeff, for you know, be aggressive and push through. That's exactly what I'm going to do, actually. You can see it's either a 2 or a 3 stop, starting on the soft, and then the team reckon, due to the race strategy program, go to the super soft, and then go to the soft tyre again. Now, I kind of didn't agree with that. Initially, I thought a 1 stop was going to be possible. But then based upon a little bit of research I just did there, apparently it's not. It's very much not possible. So I put a bit more fuel in, and, you know, now we're going to build to the 5 red lights for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Lights are out, away we go, pulling away, getting quite a bad start actually, but Palmer appears to have had the absolute worst one out of everybody. We're going to tuck in behind Alonso, try and get any slipstream we can. We're going to lunge forward under braking. Everyone nice and slow into turn 1. We're going to go down the inside, but side by side, 3 wide with both of the Renault cars. Hulkenberg and Palmer battling. We're going to go out wide, flick around the outside of them, and we'll jump up into 15th place. We've managed somehow to make that work for us. So, but yes, I talked about going aggressive. Like I said, I intend on going soft, super soft, super soft, because I feel as if I'll be able to push the tyres and get a benefit out of it that way. And hopefully that will prove to be better for us in the race, due to the fact that, as we saw in qualifying, we're not exactly competitive. But now we try to have a go at Sainz into the hairpin. He gets a much better run on the wider exit and is still ahead of us. He's, of course, now we're going to look to maybe dive it down into this hard turn 10. We get him, but once again, we haven't managed to pull fully ahead of him, and obviously he's got a better engine than us, and he's going to have a decent run heading down towards the next left-hander. He's on the outside, we're on the inside. We're able to brake late, send it through, and we're past Carlos Sainz, up into 14th position in the Mclaren Honda. And this is how we're going to get ahead of these people. We need to be aggressive in the opening laps on the fresh tyres, fresh engine, you know, all that sort of thing. But now, as you can see, start of lap 2, Sainz just going to go straight past us with the better power unit. We stick in the slipstream, we're late on the brakes, because that's one tiny benefit we have of this bad engine. It's the fact that we're not going fast enough to have to brake as early as everyone else. That's the only thing I can come up with. Sainz get past us before turn 4. We're going to try and attack him around the outside if we can, but I went very wide and got not a lot of grip out on the obviously not very used part of the track. So Sainz was able to power past us there. Little I could do about it, and to be honest, it was going to be difficult to keep him behind anyway. We saw our pace in qualifying, and it's not great. You can already see by the end of lap 2, Sainz has already pulled a decent gap to us, and he's off trying to catch back up to everyone else there. But Hulkenberg is the next guy in line to try and have a go at us. Kimi Räikkönen doing a 33.3. It'll be interesting to see what we do at the end of lap 2 as we fight round the outside of Nico Hulkenberg, getting a good run. But once again, I think we're going to see the downside being that our speed is low. We did a 1:38.9. That's 5.5 seconds slower than Kimi Räikkönen. We go towards turn 1. Brake late. Can we go around the Renault? Yes, we can. Just about able to get past the Renault there. Nicely held. Magnussen has dropped down to 14th ahead of us. Appears to be moving quite slowly, actually. Hulkenberg going to have another run into turn 4. Can he get past us? We brake late once again and managed to once again hold it round the outside. We're basically ruining both the Renault's race here. We're now start of lap 4. We're going to pull to the inside line, and we're going to see Hulkenberg. He's just going to breeze past us on the left-hand side, as is the speed difference. But we're going to go once again late on the brakes, quite deep into turn 1 this time, to prevent him from getting that wide line and the inside for turn 2. But Hulkenberg's still got a fantastic exit. We're going to come up the hill now, side by side. Hulkenberg's definitely got his nose ahead. We're going to hold it, hopefully around the outside of turn 4 if we can. The Renault side by side. But we've got a wider exit. Hulkenberg has held it nicely on the inside, though. He's going to try and cut across before turn 5. We hold it around the outside again. Still side by side through the left-hander, and we hold it and down towards a hairpin. We've retained 15th place, and we might as well fight for these positions, because it gives us the actual experience of going side by side with other cars, which we're going to need when this McLaren gets up here. Hulkenberg finally able to get an inside line, but we've managed to cut back underneath him, and we're once again side by side going up the hill. Hulkenberg's on our inside. Can we look to keep it as we go towards the right-hander? And yes, we've still once again managed to stay behind him. And Hulkenberg, he's probably just growing frustrated at this point. So what he did is he was smart. He dropped back for a couple of laps, probably saved the tyres, saved the fuel, and he gave it another run a couple of hours later on lap 7. And this time he didn't give me the option of being able to cut underneath him. And he was able to get through, sweep ahead before the right-hander, and now Hulkenberg's ahead of us. And there's little to nothing I can do about that now that he is... He's actually ahead of us, so he took 13th place off us. Someone has already made a pit stop. Can't quite remember who exactly, but Hulkenberg ahead. We brake at the 100-meter board for the final corner. And we could get some slipstream off of Hulkenberg here, but no, he's going to peel into the pit lane. So Hulkenberg then clearly had enough of his super soft tyres. Of course, this might be the region, yeah, look, a lot of the front runners coming in that might be running the 3-stop strategy. We're, of course, continuing on our soft tyre, up into 9th position now. Pascal Wehrlein as well in 10th, so, you know, the teams that are usually fighting for the wooden spoon at the back, running in 10th place. Wehrlein has dropped behind Palmer, who is still back here on those super soft tyres. He's not having a good day of it. And here's a weird incident. Yellow flags. Danny Kvyat parked in the middle of the road. I'm honestly no idea what could have caused that. I can only assume a puncture would be the reason why a car would just park it. But even then, it's weird. And I've seen it with other people as well. And I've also had it myself in offline races. Danny Kvyat now actually retires. But no, I have seen the AI do that, so that's weird. That might be something that will need a little bit of a patch. Anyway, Massa now coming past us. We're now somehow up into 5th, obviously due to the fact we haven't made a pit stop, and Massa breezes past us in his much better car, so not really much we can do about that there. As we now head down through to the middle sector, but we're going to look to drag these tyres for a few more laps now. I think sort of like lap 10, lap 11 could be when we're looking to come in. Maybe 12, we want to drag them even further, because what we've got to think is the further we take these tyres, the less time we have to spend on the super stuff. As Ricciardo comes past us, Perez is going to have a look at the well. This is the montage of misery at the moment, because this is the point where all the faster drivers have made their pit stops. They're going to get ahead of us, and then they have fun going past us. Perez goes down our inside, but then just locks up and flies off the road, which I thought was quite funny. So, but then we made a mistake ourselves, so a comedy of errors there. It's actually going to allow Max Verstappen, of all people, to pull alongside us, and he's basically got a free pass Perez there due to Perez trying to overtake us. But yeah, obviously we made these positions due to everyone else coming in, and now we just sort of, you know, like a stone off the Eiffel Tower, just tumbling down. It's just pathetic. Look at it. There goes Perez past us. You know, I'm doing this commentary off the back of the Belgian Grand Prix in real life, and you know, as Fernando Alonso so well put it, embarrassing, just embarrassing. You know, so here comes Esteban Ocon as well on the right-hand side. Yep, and there he goes. We're once again, though, going to go late on the brakes, because as we like to, dive right out. Can we fight these guys? We've got actually quite a good run versus Ocon. Down the inside, oh, a bit of contact made. I don't think we're carrying any damage off of that there. But we made contact with the Force India, as seen, and we make the conscious decision now at the end of lap 11. I've realised that Wehrlein, Alonso and Ericsson have already pit, so I need to come in this lap, because I don't really, you know, that's kind of like a little 4-car race we have at the back. So that's like they're the guys that we're going to be racing. But Sainz annoyingly kept on my inside as I tried to come into the pit lane. So here we go, limiter engaged, get it down 50 miles an hour, nicely done on our marks into the pit lane. Alonso hadn't pit, my apologies. I thought he had. I think it was Wehrlein who made the first pit stop, as he was on super softs. Alonso on a similar strategy to myself here, but like I said, this is our first of 2 sets of the super soft tyres. This is a fresh set of tyres, and now we're going to come out, and this was the moment I realised that we really weren't performing around here. There goes Wehrlein, there goes Ericsson, and we come out in plumb dead last by quite a few seconds. It's not even close on the pit exit. So there was the realisation that this car really not fast around here, and I probably cost myself quite a bit of time as well by fighting the higher tier drivers, as it were. But personal best, 35.7, much faster. We're now going to try and line up Ericsson for a move. Obviously, you know, the straight's not our best of friend, so we're going to need to try and figure out where we can pass him. He was quite slow out of turn 1, so we're just going to have to try and look in the slipstream as we go up the hill there. Bit of slipstream, rich mixture. Probably way too far back to make a diving move. Don't want to, you know, pull a David Croft wet dream and go, oh, can he make a move down the inside from 100 yards back? No, I definitely can't. But obviously our car is better on the downforce than the chassis, so we'll be able to follow this Sauber quite nicely through the right and left-hander, and then we should be able to shape a move. Here we go, down the inside into the hairpin. Don't want to do anything too reckless and, you know, lock a brake and go into the side. So there we go, past Marcus Ericsson, who tried to fight. You can see Alonso has made his pit stop, and he's now in last place. So, you know, even with a guy with the talent of Fernando Alonso still sitting right at the back of the field. So we now fast forward a lot later. This is lap 20. Other cars have made their second pit stop and they've fit medium tyres. That's why we've gained a few positions. This is where the point I'm setting super soft tyres for the next stop. As you can see, we're fighting Nico Hulkenberg once again, who had, you know, pulled a whole pit stop on us since we had our lovely scrap with him earlier in the Grand Prix. So he's now going to go off and enjoy the rest of his race. Thank you for that, Nico. We've actually got Alonso catching us. Alonso was faster than us on the softer compound of tyre. So the soft tyre worked more in our favour, that the super soft Alonso looked to prefer. So that's an interesting point going towards the end of the race. But here we go, second pit stop now for another set of super soft tyres. Now, this set that I'm putting on is actually a set I ran in practice. I didn't actually have another fresh set of super soft tyres, so I'm running a scrubbed set. I think they're only at like 6 or 7%, so it's not too bad, but you don't have like initial nice newness that you would have like when you do on like a fresh out lap. So yeah, interesting to note. But I could tell that running a little bit longer on the super soft was a bit better, because this time around when we come out, we're actually closer to Marcus Ericsson. Now, that's more than likely due to the fact that he's now on his soft tyres rather than the super soft, which he ran earlier than us. So, of course, that's why we're now running those. And Ericsson now apparently has an issue with his car. But here's something interesting to note now. At the end of lap 21, start lap 22, Alonso, the overcut, allowed him to jump us. But he and Ericsson get too busy scrapping away. We admittedly barge our way through. We did knock our front wing on Marcus Ericsson, though, so we're going to have to carry that to the end of the Grand Prix, as the engineer is now telling us, annoyingly. I could sort of, tell that myself, the damage indicator coming. It's only slight damage. You don't even really recognise it on the damage hub in the MFD there, but we now continue on to the rest of the race. Alonso obviously got past Ericsson due to the fact that, as stated by the engineer, Ericsson has issues. And this is the point, we're getting lapped now. This is, I think it's Sebastian Vettel. Yes, it is, leading the Bahrain Grand Prix, and he's coming up to lap us. Now, obviously, when it initially waved the blue flags, he was way too far back for me to lift off. So what I did here, coming out of this corner, I just pulled off to the right-hand side, feathered the throttle just a little bit. I don't need to lift too much in a straight line versus anyone with another power unit other than the Honda, So Vettel goes past us. We duck back in behind him, because even though Alonso is on the soft tyre, he's gaining on us. This is something that I noticed. Alonso is lapping faster than us. And here we go again. You see, back to the montage of misery as Hamilton and Raikkonen now come up behind us. And I don't even move out the way here on this straight. I'm just going to come out the final corner. And I'm not even going to feather the throttle. Look, I just keep it planted on the right-hand side. I just move out the way. Don't even lift the throttle, because they are just going to come steaming past me regardless. There goes Hamilton. And there goes Kimi Raikkonen. We're going to once again just duck back in, try and get that additional couple of miles an hour at the end of the straight. Try not to cream into the back of the Ferrari. There's puffs of smoke coming out the back of one of those cars. I'm not too sure if it was the Ferrari or the Mercedes, but I definitely noticed them. Anyway, here we go, lap 27. And Fernando Alonso has caught us. He's now up behind us here, and he's got a good run coming out of the second and third corners. He's actually going to pull... I'm going to pull across to defend. He's pulled to the outside because he's looking to make a move on me. The McLarens, side by side through turn 4. Alonso doesn't quite make the move stick. Thankfully, my super soft tyres allowing me to retain the position. But, yeah, Alonso at the end of this race has had much better pace than myself, and it's fun to battle a driver of his stats. You can see that I'm, not doing too well in the with the grip and the driving level. But anyway, here we go. We're now right at the end due to the fact that we've been lapped. Vettel's going to cross the line. Anyway, there you go. Vettel crossed the line. And it's now Alonso. This is still for position here. We're going to be coming up to the line. We're on the last lap of the race. We take the defensive line. We don't get the best run out of the final corner. And we're going to have to see, can we cross the line and have Alonso? It's going to be very close. The indicator arrow goes red. Oh, we just about. Just about kept it ahead of Fernando Alonso. 16th place. He's obviously nothing to be too happy about. But... we beat our teammate, so that's obviously always a good thing that we can hope for, because it's the best person that we can compare ourselves with.
Championship. It's a good result for Sebastian Vettel, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. Moving on to the driver of the day then. Anthony Davidson, who would you go for?
Today I'm going to give it to the McLaren driver.
Oh, well, thank you for that, Anthony Davidson. So we get driver of the day at the Bahrain Grand Prix. I think we got it another race as well in China, I believe. So Vettel leads the driver standings, as David Croft had just confirmed there, as we now flip across. So Seb Vettel leading by 19 points ahead of Bottas. Hamilton Raikkonen has not got off to a good start. He's 6th in my career mode, as opposed to other drivers where I've seen him win the first 4 or 5 races. So we sit in 16th in the championship because we've got a better finishing position than both Alonso and the other Sauber drivers. So yeah, I mean, if this just solidifies, we're definitely not going to do well on power tracks. But The driver rivalry is looking good. We are leading that. Alonso with a much fastest lap compared to us. We just weren't very good around Bahrain. But we hit the target and we beat Alonso, and the other teams enjoy the fact we're hitting our targets. So, yeah, we're going to need to build on the power unit a bit more, and we're just going to have to wait for the tracks that suit our car a little bit more, because Bahrain definitely was not it. But guys, thank you very much for watching. Do leave a like if you did enjoy. I really hope that you did. And comment any feedback down below and tell me how I can make these videos better. There will be another video coming tomorrow. It is daily uploads for the foreseeable future. Pretty much using all the time that I can to put out this content for you. So Russia will be coming up tomorrow. I will see you all next time.